Hello everyone. So let's learn what is the best practice to manage environment variable in Pythonic projects. So we have been observing and we have been seeing there are a lot of challenges and how we should be managing the environment variable securely. That's what we have been seeing. So we will learn how we should be maintaining in our projects. As a best practice. So a first approach would be for the development or for building any application and how we should be maintaining those environment or secure environment variables and its values. So you start with that in the Python. What we have one approach where we can create a .env file or any other name also we can give, I think. Uh, with this library python.env, this is the uh, package which give us this option, right? So if we are using Python latest version, we should be getting. Otherwise, we should be installing this module python.env. Uh, So what we can do, we can do pip install python.env, and then we should be creating a .env file in your project on the root itself. And if you would like to configure variable, you should be configuring those variable like key value pair here. So this is the key and this is its values, right? And then after configuration this into the .env file, you should be trying to load it. So you can load anywhere, but mostly in a project, right? We should have settings.py or config.py, which is responsible for loading dynamically all the settings and config at runtime. So within that project or anywhere, if you would like to load that with this .env, what you have to do very first, you have to import it, import load.env. So from .env, you should be able to load this. Import OS, which will allow us to interact with OS. And you should be calling this load.env, which will load all the environment variable, whatever you have configured. And then if you would like to access those variable, you will go and call it out with OS command, the os.getEnv, and in our case, database URL, secret keys, and debug option. And this is the another approach where you would like to set a default value of it. So you can place a comma and put the default value. If that value is not exist, it will have this default value. So with this, you would be able to get or load all those environment variables, right? And then environment variable in deployment pipeline, if you would like to leverage, then you should be able to set this env uh, in either in the Docker file or whatever wherever you are deploying, right? There will be platform configuration options. So in that you can tell it this is an environment variable and this is the key and this is its value. Our other approach is Docker Compose. So in Docker Compose, you can just call it out environment file where you maintain environment variables. It will load it automatically. So this is second uh, point where we would like to use a load environment variable in our pipeline. And second point, keep sensitive data secure. So to keep those sensitive data secure, what you have to ensure that whatever .env file you have created, or you have to put it into git ignore, so that it will not get checked in into your repo code, and it will not reveal your all secrets if it is sensitive data. Either other way is you can use secret management in production if you would like to maintain key vault or secret manager. So in that way you can secure. That's another option. And we also see if we would like to have any default value set. So this is how we should be able to set the default value, right? And suppose if you would like to raise a error, if that value is not exist or set, in that case you can have this check. If secret key is none, raise error, and with that it should be able to raise error. Another point is manage deployment, testing, and production config. So for your project life cycle, you will be having a different environment. So what is the best approach? And those values per environment will change. So what you can do, you should be having a different .env file. For example, .env.dev, .env.test, and .env.prod. And while loading, you can call it accordingly. And that way, you should be able to load respective environment variable, right? And uh, if you would like to build a config class and you would like to give this responsibility to config class, then you can have a class where you can load .env and you can set it all these variables over there. And then you will be having a config development config, and you can have a production config. So accordingly, you should be able to call, and there you should have this default value debug equal to true if it is development. If it is production, you can make it false. So these are the uh, ways through which we can uh, manage environment variables in local, in production, in pipeline, and what are the best practices across that. So let's dive into a sample code. So I have started this Visual Studio, and we have a test folder. Under it, I have environment, my environment, Python environment, right? And I'm going to create my test.py, and in this, I'm going to follow a sample project. Before that, I have to create a .env file which will store all the environment configuration. So to get that environment variables, I will switch back to that environment variable to get those environment variables. So just I'm copying all those environment variable from our blog, from where we read through. I'm going to paste it here. So these are our environment variables, right? And to leverage these environment variables, what we need to do, we need to have python.env, right? So what I can do, I can go to the terminal. Otherwise, best practice is create a requirement.txt and try to install python.env, and save this file. And what you can do, you can go to that terminal, and you have to go inside your environment. So my environment, my env scripts activate. So I have activated my environment, and in this environment I'm going to install pip install -r requirement.txt. So it should come. Okay, there is a spelling mistake. So let me correct it. Requirements.txt. And with this, I should be able to install python.env, right? And I have already contributed this environment variable, and let's write a load part of it, how we should be able to load. So for that, first of all, I have to import load.env. So from .env import load.env, right? And import OS as well. And now to load all the environment variable, you have to call load.env so that it will load all the environment variable. And if you would like to access a particular read and set particular environment variable into a variable, you can define these variables and load it. And if you would like to print, you can print these variables one by one. So database URL, you can have it here. Similarly, you can have this other secrets key, and you can, oh, sorry, and you can read it this debug option also, right? And what is it? This is secret key. This is debug option. Save it and let's try to run this program. So we will run python test.py. So see, okay, so if I would be giving this, it would be clear what are the variable values it has read, right? So with this, you can see whatever environment variable we have set it, it is able to read it. And for best practices, if you don't like this to get checked in into Git repo, you have to have dot git ignore file. And in this one, you should be calling it out that file dot env so that whenever you will check in, this dot env file will not get checked in into repo, and this will be in your local itself. All right. So this is the simple example. Hope it will help to you.